High in the rainforest canopy, this sloth carries a burden it cannot escape. Around the face and neck, the softest fur has become a feeding ground for swelling parasites. In the hidden fur of the neck, the infestation grows thick enough to turn every still moment into discomfort. Even the chest and shoulders are crowded, where the sloth's long fur traps and hides the worst of the burden. Every movement seems heavier when so much of the body is under attack. Some of the worst clusters lie in the deepest folds, where the sloth cannot possibly reach them. The suffering is quiet but constant, written in every tense pause and every exhausted movement. Near the ear, where the fur grows dense and tangled, the parasites gather unchecked. Across the upper back, the infestation spreads so wide that even resting becomes a trial. Even holding on demands strength when the body is already worn down. So the sloth waits, helpless against a burden it cannot remove alone. Then, sharp-eyed cleaners notice the burden hanging before them in the trees. The first caracara approaches with caution, reading the sloth's stillness before making contact. The moment of trust begins when the first bird lands, and the sloth does not pull away. A second cleaner joins the first, drawn toward the thickest patches hidden in the shaggy coat. Now the inspection narrows, from the whole burden to a single parasite chosen for removal. The first peck is careful, but it marks the start of the relief the sloth could never give itself. Now the work becomes visible, a swollen tick starting to loosen under the pull of a hooked beak. Soon, the first pair is joined by others, turning curiosity into purposeful work. The cleaners know where the burden hides worst, and they move there without hesitation. What looked buried for good now starts to give way under careful pressure. The sloth can do only one thing now: remain still and let help come closer. Now the real work begins, as a small team of cleaners spreads across the sloth's burdened body. At the neck, where the burden ran deepest, the birds begin to clear the first real space. Across the shoulder and chest, each bite lightens the sloth's burden by one more parasite. Around the face, precision matters, and the cleaner works with surprising care. The thickest clusters become the first targets, stripped away one parasite at a time. For the bird, the burden becomes food, a reward taken directly from the sloth's pain. Working together, the birds turn one feeding opportunity into a careful, coordinated cleanup. Some parasites resist harder than others, but even the biggest begin to give way. Already, the sloth's body begins to soften as the first relief takes hold. What looks like tenderness is also hunger, and the partnership works because both needs are real. As one region clears, the cleaners shift their focus to the next hidden pocket of burden. For a brief time, the canopy becomes a place of quiet cooperation, shaped by hunger and relief. Only the densest pockets remain, and the birds turn to them with renewed focus. A parasite finally breaks free, and the sloth's burden becomes just a little lighter. Patch by patch, the sloth's coat begins to reclaim its natural form. Even the delicate fur around the face is now reached by a cleaner's careful beak. Together, the birds turn scattered feeding into a coordinated effort on the sloth's body. The long coat hides what the eye misses, but not what the birds are trained to find. For the cleaners, the work never really stops, each meal leading directly to the next search. The deepest pockets begin to loosen at last, leaving space where only burden once hung. Relief is visible now, not in speed, but in the way the body finally relaxes. Only a few strongholds remain, and the cleaners turn all their focus toward them. The difference can now be seen from a distance, the body looking lighter than it did before. Relief reaches the face first, softening the look of an animal no longer trapped by constant irritation. Where the shoulder was once crowded, only scattered remnants now remain. The body softens now, no longer driven by the same relentless discomfort. The work is nearly done, reduced now to careful checks for the last hidden stragglers. Beneath the bird's work, the sloth's coat begins to look like its own again. Even the branch seems calmer now, as if the tension has drained away with the parasites. What remains is not suffering, but the quiet after it, held in the stillness of a calmer body. What remains is the same animal, yet clearly changed by the small lives that helped it. Seen in the vast canopy, the moment feels small, yet it reveals one of nature's quiet balances.